Chapter 20, Columbus crosses the Atlantic. In 1492, while Florence was mourning the death of Lorenzo the Magnificent, another event was unfolding that would permanently change the world. A Genoese sailor named Christopher Columbus was preparing to cross the Atlantic. Columbus believed he could reach Asia by sailing west from Europe. That basic idea wasn't ridiculous. Educated Europeans already knew the Earth was round. Columbus's mistake was his estimate of its size. He believed Asia was much closer to Europe across the Atlantic than it actually was. For years, Columbus tried to convince European rulers to finance his expedition. Eventually, Queen Isabella I and King Ferdinand II of Spain agreed. In August 1492, Columbus departed with 3 ships: the Niña, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. They sailed to the Canary Islands and then turned west into the Atlantic. And kept sailing. Days became weeks. The sailors watched the horizon. No Asia appeared. Then, early on October 12, land was sighted. Columbus and his crew had reached an island in the Bahamas. But they had not reached an empty world. People already lived there. The indigenous Taino and other peoples of the Caribbean belonged to societies with their own languages, cultures, political systems, trade networks, and histories stretching back generations. Columbus believed he had reached islands near Asia. He hadn't. He had crossed the Atlantic and encountered lands previously unknown to Europeans of his era. The consequences were enormous. More Spanish expeditions followed. Then other European powers joined them. People, crops, animals, technologies, and diseases began moving between the eastern and western hemispheres on an unprecedented scale. Historians call this enormous transfer the Columbian Exchange. Europe received foods including potatoes, tomatoes, and maize. The Americas received horses, cattle, wheat, and other plants and animals. But Europeans also brought diseases such as smallpox. Indigenous populations, lacking immunity to many of these diseases, suffered catastrophic losses. And conquest followed exploration. European colonization brought warfare, forced labor, enslavement, displacement, and the destruction of indigenous societies alongside the creation of entirely new cultures and communities. Columbus himself made additional Atlantic voyages, still believing he had reached the outskirts of Asia. He never understood the full geographical significance of what had happened. But history did. In 1492, Columbus crossed the Atlantic. It wasn't the moment America was discovered. Millions of people were already there. It was the beginning of sustained contact between worlds that had developed largely apart for thousands of years. And after that contact, neither world would ever be the same. If you found this informative, there's a tip jar in the description. Thanks for watching.